Now, beginning with the back section from the occipital down into the nape area, I bring the hair out completely parallel to the scalp and cut a direct line going straight up at a 45-degree angle. This is going to remove weight in a dramatic way in this portion of the haircut. I'm taking very thin sections, and my guideline is traveling with each one of the sections so that it's basically staying fairly squared, but it's not over directing it to the center, not even a little bit. You can now see that my length change is square, but because I point cut it, it does have a softer sensibility to it on the bottom. Now as I work with the area from the crown down to the top of the occipital, I'm going to make sure it's nice and damp so that the moisture is the same as where I cut everything else. But also what I want to do is I want to over direct the weight of the cut so that I'm not getting as strong a layering. How I'm going to accomplish that is by taking a similar thin section in the center and then bringing it out at a 45-degree angle, cutting it slightly longer so it falls over the previous section, but also adds weight to the cut, as you'll see. Taking really small sections, I continue to follow the guide as I work my way around the head. Careful to keep a corner or weight in the section. I don't want it to be too rounded. Later on, I'm going to point cut as I attach or connect the front portion of the cut to the back. The side sections are taken from just behind the ear to the front in a triangle going from the top of the head down, and then I bring all those sections one angle at a time forward to determine the length I want. After I've determined the length I want, as I'm over directing it forward, I elevate it away from the face so as to create a softer edge. Now you'll see me repeating this over and over. I'll take the next section, bring it forward. Now I know where my length is now, so I don't have to keep doing it flat. I elevate it out, and then I just blend it out with a nice soft edge. Now I'm going to add layering to that section. I just start at the top, take a thin slice, over direct it up, and then cut from the front to the back a pretty square line. I'm not graduating it for length. After I do that, I'm going to take sections from below, over directing them up, and just keep adding to that as I add gentle layering to that portion of the cut. Next, I will take that portion of the cut, that side section, and a portion of the back. I will bring them out at a nice 45-degree angle away from the head, and I will point cut so as to blend from the front to the back. Careful not to take off too much. I'm not looking for to reestablish a layer. I'm looking to blend the two sections. If you like this kind of music, check out our YouTube channel. We have got a section there, a file there on music to cut hair by. All kinds of electronic music like this that we make for these occasions. Do enjoy them. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the opposite side, repeating everything you just saw me do. And I'm over directing it forward. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to establish my guideline, over directing it forward, getting a nice little bit of an angle going from the front to the back. I'm also at this point starting to see the intensity of my Sapphire Green and also the intensity of the blue lowlights that were woven in as well. So we have Sapphire Green, blue lowlights, then Caitlin did also an orange for the top along with yellow highlights or lowlights. really quite vibrant. Keep in mind that the tolerance of your haircuts, the tolerance of cutting hair, always does better when you use very small sections. Not too thick, not too wide. Just use complete control by using small sections. Okay, now it's time to start adding the layering. So I take a small section at the top, over direct it straight on up using the guideline from the front, connecting it to the back. I'm not using any kind of angle for length. I go straight across, kind of a square line is what I'm cutting. Then I take thin sections and add to each one. As I over direct it up, add it to each previous section. This is going to give me a nice reduction in volume and weight, giving me a softer edge so I get more detailing at the end of the design. You know, doing this haircut, it occurs to me that a person really could take these sections, these side sections, over direct them forward and then point cut into them too. That would look really nice as well. Now I'm taking the back section and the front section, and I'm doing the same as I did on the other side. I'm point cutting to just blend the two together. Now it's time to set the top's length. I take a very thin section from the center, and then from the crown I take a sample of the guideline before or behind it, and I use that to go from the crown forward. In this instance, because of my length, I'm not really adding any angle to it. You could go from shorter to longer as you reach the front. In this instance though, I'm not. I'm just taking it straight forward. Now each section, as I work my way across the top, is basically the same as the back. It's not over directed to the previous parting. It's included to the previous section and travels. So I'm not rounding it too much. I'm trying to keep it a little bit square, not bringing it too close to me, not over directing it to center. As I get to the corner, the frontalis muscle area of the haircut, I then will over direct it up to blend, but I don't over direct it to the center of the cut. I don't want a V shape in the center of the cut. You keep a close eye on the positioning of my hand. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm over directing it up. I'm moving slightly closer to me as I'm doing this section, but I'm not really bringing it too far. This keeps it from being rounded, and that's what we want. A nice square but very precise layer. You'll notice I have a triangulated section going from the crown or apex, if you will, down to the front, going just above the right eyebrow. And here's my finished product. A little bit of disconnection, a lot of vibrancy in the color. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. I'd be very interested to see. Thanks for watching.